Well, this Friday, we are opening our doors at the Broadcasting Center for Sounds of the Season. I can't wait. It is a time for us to tell stories about people as well who rely on food banks and why your support is so important. Food banks are a safety net across the city. Many of those food banks are also places where people get support to find their way out of a rough patch. Metro Morning producer Mary Weens has the story of one young woman who started as a food bank client and went on to manage a food bank.
When we have new clients, sometimes it can be hard to communicate. So this got to take time.
Julie heads downstairs to meet a new client. Sonar has been waiting outside for the food bank to open.
Sonar, nice to meet you. Okay, Sonar, do you want to come upstairs with me? We'll just go and get a little bit more quieter.
Back in Julie's office, Sonar pulls out a paper to show Julie who sent him.
They sent me here.
Okay, so this is from the Learning Enrichment, yes. So LEF, this is actually where our head office is located. Let's see, Turkey. Is it just yourself or a family? Two children?
Yeah, okay. 2 children, yes.
Sonar understands a lot more than he speaks.
Now, with this location, Sonar, you can come once every 2 weeks.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so
yeah, I know.
You know that? Okay.
Yeah, yes.
We only open Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday.
Yes.
We just don't have enough to provide for the community members.
Every food bank limits the number of visits. In the face of growing need, food banks have to stretch out supplies as far as possible. Many refugees rely on food banks during their first year in Canada. This is the first time Julie's met someone from Turkey.
Fairly new to the country. Welcome. Very welcome. So your birth date is March 10th, 1972?
Yes.
Okay.
Sonar has 2 children. The food he picks up today will only last a couple of days. But Julie knows that a little help can sometimes get people through a tight week. And no matter who comes through, Julie makes sure they feel accepted.
The largest I've seen is a family of 10. And it was quite interesting. No one spoke English. How did I do this? I had called a past volunteer who had a neighbor that spoke it. So she was able to translate what I was saying to the client in the office. So that was very helpful because sometimes you feel lost. I want them to understand that I'm here to help. And I don't want them to feel like I'm just pushing them out the door. And to let me
Julie knows what it's like to feel out of place. 5 years ago, she lost her job at a medical clinic in Brampton. She was on her own with an 11-year-old daughter, facing her first ever visit to a food bank.
I don't want to say shame, but I was kind of embarrassed. Walking up to it was in a school, and I remember it was a school day, so there were kids out there, and I have to go through the side door, and it went in there with just smiling faces. I can see it, smiling faces, not only the volunteers, but with clients.
A model for how Julie would one day run the Lawrence Heights Food Bank.
You feel anxious walking into a food bank, because in my head, I'm thinking it's people that are either homeless, displaced somehow. This is the type of people that are going to be served. What am I doing here?
So whenever Julie registers a new person, her tone is matter of fact. Welcome.
Yeah, so your daughter's now 15.
Yeah. 15. Yeah, 15.
Same as her daughter.
15.
Oh.
Same age. Okay, so now, is there any help that you may need with referrals for housing, if you're in need for housing, child care, or do you need any clothing?
I don't understand. Yes. Excuse me.
Sure, it's okay.
Julie also knows what it's like to be inarticulate. Growing up in Brampton, she was painfully shy. She had a speech impediment. Even running an errand to the convenience store filled her with anxiety.
This kind of organizing was not my thing. It was not my forte. And I'll be honest with you, public speaking wasn't until 2 years ago here. 2 years ago. I was just feared talking in front of people. I was so nervous. And now I'm in the community, serving my community. I would never thought that, because I never liked speaking in front of people.
and this job really requires you to be
so it kind of brought me out of my shell. I had to be brought out of my shell. Right?
The best thing that could have happened to her.
I would have stayed in my medical field, what I need to know in that area, and that's it. Here, new faces all the time. Every day there's new faces. And, there's another one. Is it Robin? Hi, Robin. How are you? Sorry, I'm just meeting with Mary.
Today, none of the food bank volunteers would know or even suspect that Julie once struggled with social anxiety.
Hi, Brent. And this is Brent, another long-standing volunteer.
How's Julie doing?
Very well.
Have you been here?
Chief. A lot of patience.
We don't want to stress any volunteers out. So if there's a situation where I can come in and make it easier, I always want them to know, just call me and I'll come down and kind of smooth it out. You do get difficult people. But, I mean, sometimes they come in and they have the whole world on their shoulders. So you can see as soon as they come in, this might be stressful.
This particular morning, Julie escorts Sonar back to the waiting room and explains the next step.
Okay. So this is for the next time you come back here. Phone number is on the back if you need to call me. And then you wait to hear number 8.
Yes.
And you go in and you'll be served.
Okay.
Okay? It's going to push this door because it's kind of cold. Oh, it's freezing. Yeah. Sorry. So others? Just put it in the sink now.
Standing at the back door, bidding clients goodbye as they leave with their groceries, Julie holds this place together, a role that requires tact, organizational skill, and maybe even a bit of showbiz from a woman who can guess what a lot of other people are feeling as they walk through these doors. For CBC Radio, I'm Mary Weens in Toronto.